Carlijn Krijger is on a mission to create 10,000 superwoman bodies. After reading countless self-development books, journaling, workouts, and spending over $30,000 on coaches and programs, Carlijn realized a breakthrough that came through things like deep detoxes, the world's leading health protocols, and authentic spirituality. Everything goes so many layers deeper than most people are aware of. And so that's what Carlijn is helping her clients with right now. So in this episode of the Neil Wilkins Podcast, we're going to explore these opportunities and more, I'm sure, as we delve deep into the techniques and practices that will help you increase mental clarity and improve your physical and emotional well-being. Welcome to the podcast, Carlijn.
Hello, hello, hello. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for having me.
So that's the big build-up, isn't it? 10,000 superwoman bodies. I mean, what is that as a mission?
Yes, actually a lot of, let's say, gurus or religions or thoughts have this number of 10,000. So what is actually calculated? I don't know the exact calculation. My mentor taught me, but essentially when you create a 10,000 group of people that are sane and that are willing to move forward spiritually, it helps. It's enough to create a shift in the entire world. Only 10,000 people are needed. So that's where the number 10,000 comes from. But yeah, it's just as many as wanted. So if there's 1 million, then even better.
Indeed. I mean, it's a multiplier, isn't it? And I guess, people talk to people are connected with other people, and it's almost this irresistible energy starts to build once they encounter good stuff, because this is the good stuff, isn't it?
Exactly.
And so needed in this time right here, right now, isn't it?
Exactly. And if there's one thing that if I create one change in one person, I won. That's how I see it. I don't need anyone to be perfect. I just need to have one shift, and that is enough, because from there you have more.
Yeah, absolutely. And this thing, I have to ask you the question before we kind of really get deep into the conversation. $30,000 on programs and courses and that's a big investment by anybody's standards.
Yeah.
What was that about?
It was a decision. I had savings, and your money is something you can endlessly make, right? So yes, it was just a decision. I was so far down, I was so isolated, I was so lost. I just had to do something. It was the money or my life. I'd rather have my life than have that money. I mean, it was there in the bank anyways. It's not something I spent in one go. It's something I accumulated over time. So yeah, that's the reason. It's very simple. I can give you a whole story, but I just wanted myself. I just wanted my life back.
And I suppose there must have been some kind of tipping point, some moment where you just thought, enough is enough. And I need to change, or I need to see change in my life, because for most of us, we're on this. I mean, I always call it the hamster wheel, where we're just going and going and going and going and going and going. We don't take that time to kind of jump off and think, I need to reflect on this. I need to have a look and actually review where I am, and am I happy with this? If I am, well, let's continue on. But if I'm not, I need to kind of break that routine, break that rhythm, because otherwise, next day, you're still going to just get all of the same. What was that tipping point for you? Was there a particular moment where you just thought, I have to change this?
Yes, there was. There was multiple. And every time I made that decision, I literally quantum leaped. No exaggeration. So what that moment was for me is I was in veterinary school. And I've always been super into holistic health and into diet and exercise, and I looked very good on the outside. I looked like a very put together being, but I was not able to go to social events because my anxiety was so bad. I'd start puking literally. I had rashes all over my face. I didn't have my period. I was super tired. And I just felt so alone, and I just couldn't understand a way out. So I met someone via business coach or whatever. And the moment I heard him speak, I was like, oh my God, this guy has something that I want. Like there's something there that he understands. And so I invested, I think 9K with him for a detox protocol. And from there, I met incredible people and I improved, but my period still wasn't there. And after that coaching period, I collapsed again and I had huge mood swings and I couldn't handle my own emotions. I would scream 1 hour and be calm the next hour, and then the next hour would be like completely destroyed again. It was a very strange period. Like everything looked fine, but really was not fine. Like there was really something wrong. And I went to doctors. They told me, oh, your blood work is fine. You do not have any, I did an ultrasound and didn't have any cysts on my ovaries. Like I did all kinds of trying to diagnose myself. Like I literally had to tell medical doctors what kind of test to run because they wouldn't do it themselves. I went to functional medicine practitioners who gave me adaptogens. And overall, the money built up, obviously, spiritual work. And after a while of investing and trying and investing, I just said like, okay, I don't care. I just go to Spain. I just went. Like 1 week later, I just went. I just made the decision. And 2 weeks later, my period was back. And it had been missing for a year. And I done all kinds of cleanses, liver cleansing, parasite cleansing, you name it. I done it and nothing worked. So, and then I came to Spain and suddenly everything was fine. And at the moment I didn't understand. I was like, well, nice, but what the hell? And I felt so much better. My skin cleared up, my eyes cleared up. I met a lot of amazing people who are still my friends. And from there, I met other people and other coaches and mentors. And now I'm in an ever-evolving state. And yes, I ended up as telling you my whole story. But yes, I had that moment that I just made a decision, like, it's enough. Enough is enough. I'm just going to do whatever it takes. I don't care if I need to live on the street. I don't care if my parents are going to hate me. I don't care whatever happens. I'm willing to die. I do whatever it takes. And that's when I actually completely healed.
Interesting. Thank you for being so open with your story, Carlijn, because, I think for a lot of people, this idea that you mentioned there of, on the outside, I looked fine, but on the inside, there was something that just kind of literally wasn't right. And I think for a lot of people, both men and women, that this is a very often heard thing now, that there is this kind of almost shroud of secrecy. We don't like to talk about certain things until things get so difficult that you just have to for survival's sake. Is there a kind of a pattern that you're seeing now with the work that you're doing kind of with your clients, that people kind of reach a certain point where there is this recognition that the time is right, I have to do it now? Because I'm really curious about what this switch is that changes from being, okay, I can survive this, into being, I can't survive this. I now need to be vulnerable and put myself in the hands of somebody who can help me here. But I'm just really intrigued by this moment where that change happens.
Me too. Yes, me too. It's the moment that the spirit realizes that the spirit needs to step in. And from that moment on, things go well. But until most people, they reach a certain kind of severity until they are like, oh shit, now I need to do something. For example, if you're driving and you suddenly see a car coming, like that's a severe moment, like it's critical, right? That's the moment where the spirit's like, no, brake. You don't think about it. It's super quick and it's very effective. It works, right? So when someone comes to this point with their body, or comes with this point in their life where they see like, oh my God, what have I done? this really has to change right now, the spirit kicks in and you know what to do instinctively. But the problem is with most people is that they're not willing to lose more. So when you as a spirit, you kick in, you say, everything out of the way, I'm here, and it's done. Like, it's very, very, very powerful certainty, and everyone else has to agree. Like, have you ever met someone that's just so certain that you just have to agree? Like, there's like, you cannot really argue with them, right? That is a spirit that's come to life. Now, the problem with most people is that they look and they see, oh my God, I don't want to lose. I don't want to feel even more bad. I don't want to move forward because I know I'll get hit in some way. And they consider that they get hurt or whatever. And they don't take the action until they say, like, okay, I have to. It's really a decision. And yeah, that's the point that everything changes.
Could it be kind of partly one of the issues is that we just don't spend enough time with ourselves? We don't spend enough time reflecting, maybe journaling, maybe just kind of going inward and kind of exploring, how actually am I right now? Because we get swept along in everybody else's agenda, everything else that's happening in the macro, you know, obviously all the kind of current political things that are happening across the world and stuff. We almost get swept along in this maybe, and don't give ourselves that freedom to just spend some quiet time, just like check in with myself. How actually am I? Oh, is it that bad? Oh, okay. A lot of us really aren't anywhere near that, are we? Because we don't make the time.
I think that this is a very misunderstood topic, because you can give yourself a silent time, and when you're knowing what you're doing in terms of when you're having a certain process for meditation, and when you're in a specific condition, when you're in a good condition, that time with yourself is pretty short and very effective. It's a couple of minutes. Now, where most people, they get the advice to spend more time with themselves, exactly as you say, and what they hear is, oh my God, I need to be more alone. I need to isolate myself. Other people are bad for me. That's what they hear. So what happens is they start looking at other people as danger. And what they will create is more fear and more shrinking. You know, so when you're spending time with yourself, you need to have a very specific intention for that time. And it cannot be, oh, just to feel or just to think. Because once you start thinking, you just start reactivating some past reaction, and it will make you worse. So you first of all need the knowledge about what it actually means to get to know yourself, because otherwise you just make yourself more right about something is really not there. You understand what I'm saying? It's a very unpopular opinion, and it's a very charged topic. But from my observation and from the people I work with, it really does not help to isolate yourself. And it's better to confront the things that is actually you, and to actually look at things, like look at a specific thing. And for me, myself, I really needed help with that. I needed someone else to say, like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. And now I kind of know, and I don't need that much alone time anymore.
I really like this, and I love the way you're taking this conversation, Carlijn, because there is so much stuff on social media, isn't there? Just kind of promoting the fact you're not good enough, you're not well enough, you should be fitter, you should have a body that looks like this, you should be, you know, practicing these various kind of techniques and things. And it's all, you're inadequate, you're inadequate, you're inadequate. And then you're kind of encouraged to, you know, go on this course, sign up for all these sessions, etc., etc., etc. But actually what we're saying here is that, no, hold on a minute. Carlijn says, actually, you can start to make progress in just 2 minutes by doing your own thing. And so are we kind of getting really kind of almost misinformed here? Because there's a lot of people looking to sell a lot of stuff here, isn't there, in this industry?
Hugely. And 99% of the people is telling you, I know better than you. You don't know. So let me tell you how to do. And people that are in a bad condition, that are having some kind of problem, they're like, see, I don't know. And they get worse. They become an effect. What can you do as an effect?
It's really, it's not helpful, that. But this whole thing, and I'm really curious about this 2 minutes that you say. You can just take 2 minutes, stop thinking. This doesn't have to be a long period of time. You don't have to be, maybe even deeply meditating. Some people think, well, I can't meditate. I'm too impatient, or my mind can never switch off. Well, what we're talking about here, though, is little micro moments. I mean, I don't know where that came from, but a little micro moment, just not necessarily saying I have to do this over the next hour. I have to isolate myself. It could be just a little moment in time where you think, I've got a couple of minutes now. I was going to go and make a coffee, but I'm just going to sit with this just for a couple of minutes. Can even that help?
Let's do an exercise so people can see for themselves. So take a problem that you have, a specific problem. You got it? Good.
Yeah.
How does it make you right?
It's an overwhelmed feeling. That's what I've got.
Okay. How does it make you right?
How does it make me right, as in right, physically writing?
Right, as in wrong, right.
So it's prioritizing. I need to prioritize. I need to shrink the issue. I need to make the issue smaller.
Okay. How does having this problem make you right?
There's a learning in here, a personal learning. I need to not repeat patterns that I always do, which is saying yes to everything.
Okay. How does saying yes make you right?
Because it reinforces a pattern that I've had since probably childhood that says, be helpful, serve, be a good person.
Okay. So how does that make you right?
I don't think it is right. I don't think what I'm doing is right. I think I need to be more firm with the situations I put myself into. I don't think I am right.
Okay.
Actually, stopping and thinking about this, I don't think it is right. It's not right for me, but it's probably not right for the other people, because they get a compromised version of me because I don't come to the situation fully present.
I
with
understand.
Full capacity. So
I
don't think it is right.
What is the actual problem?
There we go. So the problem manifests in me taking on too much, but the actual problem is saying no.
Mm-hmm. And how does it make you right to not say no?
Actually, it's empowering. I think it's empowering by saying no. It's not saying no never, it's saying no not now. I think there's a little caveat in there that sort of says, I'm not pushing you back. If I say no to you, I'm not pushing you back. But what I am doing is I'm saying, I don't have capacity. I don't have the mind capacity, the physical capacity, the professional capacity to be able to serve you right now. But I'm not saying no never. I'm saying no not now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what does this not saying no, when you actually mean no, how does it actually help? Some things can help in a very twisted way that not are actually helpful, but in some way they help you be right or help you stay stuck in a certain situation. Maybe you're avoiding something. Maybe you want to make someone else wrong, or you want to make someone else right. there's some kind of twisted way that it actually helps.
So I think in my example here, just saying yes to everything and then trying to figure out how can I make the capacity, how can I actually do this? I think what I'm doing is I'm actually not respecting the other person by saying no, because actually what they need to hear is no from me, not yes.
Okay.
And I think it's more helpful for me to say no to those kinds of situations, both for me and for the other person, rather than just say yes. And then I'll try and figure out how I can then deliver on that yes. If I actually say no, we're all going to win, because you're going to get a compromised me anyway. So why don't I just say no for now? That's how it feels.
How does not saying no help you? You don't need to answer right now. You can look into it yourself, but you'll see that it helps you in some twisted way. And for whoever is listening, same for you. And if you really find the actual help, it will disappear. That took us 5 minutes. Will change your whole life.
And you get a feeling, if you're going through it like I just went through it there, we're switching on, aren't we? Different parts of our brain. We're coming out of a conversation here, and it's like, whoa, what's Carlijn just asked me to do?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's something else going on there.
Yes. And if you actually look at it, you'll see that, if you actually look, you'll see that there's so many lies that you had, and so many chatter of the brain, like, oh, I should say no because that's better. Oh, I should not be a people pleaser. You are by definition a people pleaser because you're a good person. You want to help. That's your basic urge. And now people are told that it's not good to help.
It's hard though, isn't it? Because again, this constant reinforcement, both internally from past experience, but also externally from others, to break out and actually go against something that you may have had years and years or even decades and decades of reinforcement, actually breaking out of this and just clicking your fingers and saying, that's it, right, I'm not doing that anymore. For most people, I would say is very, very hard, isn't it?
It's impossible. It's been going on for eons, for lifetimes, for a very, very, very long time. You've been conditioned that you're bad. So you really need, that's why I needed to invest so much money, and I'm still going. I think it's over 50K right now, to remove those lies. You need help with that, because you cannot do that on your own. You've been so conditioned, you've having so many re-stimulations, you just cannot see. But once you see once, you'll see more. That's how powerful you are. Yep.
And it's this switch as well that I just experienced when you were asking me those questions. And obviously I had to clarify in some of those things because I was switching, I'm guessing, from being, podcast host straight into being, honestly, this is a therapy session. Okay, this is going to go differently, which is also a very interesting little experience, because literally in the moment, switching roles, switching mindset. And also what I found, and this is something I'd like to explore with you, Carlijn, is this idea of it wasn't just in my head. I was feeling as well as thinking in that moment. Because when we're having a conversation like this, yes, you can tell me something vulnerable and then I will feel it. Of course I will. I'm human. But for most of the time, I'm in thinking mode. I'm listening to your questions or your answers, and then I'm responding. So we're in this conversational thing. But as soon as you put the spotlight on me, then the emotional bit cuts in as well. And that mix of thinking and feeling it's really potent. And if you can harness it, it's really powerful. But I think for a lot of people in lots of situations, that becomes quite overwhelming, doesn't it?
It becomes overwhelming when you're always talking from the mind. When you're always, this should be logical, and you're not talking to the spirit. You're not talking to the actual person. For example, when I have boxing classes, and there's one girl in the boxing classes that's very like insecure with herself. She'll always tell me, oh, I'm bad, or oh, I cannot do this. And what I do is I just don't agree with her limitations. I just look at her as a being, as the actual good being, and I completely ignore any lies that she's telling me, because it's bullshit. It's not true. Like, I cannot do it. I just don't believe it. I just don't agree with it. I just completely ignore it. And she improves without me seeing anything the same second. Just by someone not reacting to your mind, just by someone being a stable datum, you improve immediately. Your presence alone heals. So in conversations, to come back to your question, and this is something that requires training, and you need to, first of all, know for yourself, like, okay, what's my mind and what's me and what's my body, what are my feelings? It's all different, you know? So when you're talking with someone, you first of all need to be on a similar wavelength. And second of all, you need to see them as a good person and not react to the mind. Otherwise, instead of having two spirits talking to each other, you have two minds reacting to each other. And you cannot create a connection because they both want to be right. You see?
Mm.
And
Yeah,
that's where
I guess that's where ego comes in, because we all have ego. It's the identity of self, not necessarily this thing that's bad, but it's important, that bit, isn't it? Because once you bring ego in, there is this competitive nature, there is this kind of like judgment, I guess, comes into play there as well.
The ego is not a bad thing. The ego is yourself, actually, and it's this urge to help. It's the urge to be good. Now, the problem is that the ego has this incessant need to be right. And that's where it starts making others wrong because it wants to be right. And now you have a fight.
It doesn't necessarily have to be physical fight, as it were, but it's this kind of intellectual or mental fight, isn't it? It's this, kind of sparring, and to use boxing terminology, it's this kind of sparring, kind of to and fro. I'll give you a jab, you give me a jab, right hook, left hook, kind of thing. And it is that kind of. It was almost like a dance, isn't it? It's like, again, a conversation, but it's not in necessarily a healthy way. It's not, you're not necessarily working to a single end goal that's good for everyone, and both sides. It's actually self-protection, is it, that's coming in there?
Well, if it's a dance, if it's a play, then no problem. But if it's anger and if it's reactive, then it's completely insane. Like, none of the people can see what's the truth, and they keep adding all sorts of lies, and doesn't work.
So how do you then split this idea of thought or mind and soul? I got this technique which lady called Claire Kedwood sort of taught me many years ago. Thank you, Claire, if you're listening. Still use this all the time, which was the dinner party. And she described this thing of you bring your mind, your body, your heart, and then maybe the soul is a different entity who's kind of the overseer. You bring them to a dinner party, and you imagine them sitting around the table talking about something, or maybe discussing an issue, or just being present with each other. But you break them down into, and you break yourself down into these elements. And it's fascinating when you do that and spend a little bit of time with that idea, and you let each part of you speak or sing. She often used to say to me, let your heart sing, Neil. You don't let your heart sing. And I thought that's a really kind of profound thing. And my body and my mind, they talk to each other all the time. They are like this. I mean, they really are very close, but my heart always felt on the outside. And so when I did this dinner party technique, it was like, my heart was like, I want to speak. And then when it did, different things came through, and ideas, and just different ways of being came through.
Wow.
It was really fascinating. And then I
Wow.
always felt that my soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it, was kind of looking down on this dinner party and going, oh, at last. And it was almost like it would roll its eyes and just like, yeah, God, now he gets it. And it was really interesting. And I kind of always smiled when I felt that, because it was like, oh, I should have known this way back, because I did know this way back, but I just didn't give myself a chance to hear it. And I found that was
Wow.
a fascinating experience. So I love
Wow.
that technique.
I
Well,
can totally
what's
do that,
yours?
yeah.
So when you kind of split your kind of mind and spirit, as you call it, what do you kind of do? How do you do that?
Actually, I actually love that. I'm gonna try that myself. I've never heard about it. From my point of view, I am the spirit. Okay, so I am that thing. It's not really a thing. It's not physical. It's not there, but it's there. That creates, like, that has ideas. So whenever, do you recall the feeling of having an idea? It's the most
Yes.
amazing thing, right?
Yes.
That's the
very,
actual
very
you.
rare with me, but yes, when it does happen, yes.
That's the actual
Touch
you.
it.
Yeah, that's you. And then, so that's you. And you have a body, you use a body. It's literally like an avatar that you use to play in the physical universe. Okay, it's a machine. The body is made of millions of compartments, trillions of cells, trillions of compartments that all work together to produce a kind of product. Like, it's literally a machine, a beautiful machine, and a very powerful machine, but a machine. Okay, so you have your body, and then you have a mind. Now, your mind is just a collection of past pictures. And I would even say past failures. Because the positive things do not have any continuation. You don't store them. You only store the negative in your mind. So the mind is actually a very hideous thing that you have that's constantly telling you you're bad or you're a failure or whatever. And people misidentify themselves with the mind. And the mind can have all sorts of implications on the body as well. You can have all sorts of reactions with the mind, and it's a big problem, the mind. So that's how I see it. If I have an idea, if I'm totally doing what I'm doing, if I'm confronting things, what's right in front of me, I'm me. And when I'm looking at any picture, that's my mind, and my body is just what I use. It's just a piece of flesh.
So when people say step out of your own way, I hear this quite a lot. You know, people sort of say you're getting in your own way. Really, I think what they're saying then is that they're letting their mind override the situation or override the idea or try and talk themselves out of it. And this can happen subconsciously, can't it? You're not even aware necessarily you're doing it, but you're kind of like, oh, that can't work, or oh, there's a good idea, but actually the more I think about it, I hear this a lot. People say, well, the more I think about it. Well, why are you overthinking it? Because you've just talked yourself out of what might have actually worked. It's self-defeating, isn't it? How do we as a human race actually make progress? I mean, if we're all doing this, it's hard.
The mind is very strong. The mind is very strong. And still, some people are improving. So that's how powerful you actually are. And yes, you're right. It's very hideous. It's very strong. And it happens without your control.
And I suppose if people are kind of thinking, oh, well, it doesn't apply to me. It's, interesting conversation I'm listening to here, but no, I'm not like that. What I would think, and this just came up with this idea, so I do have ideas. So here's one, is that when you wake up, as inevitably we all do, in the middle of the night, you wake up one night and your mind is going like this. It's telling you stories. You cannot switch off. We all do this at some point. Some of us most nights, some of us occasionally. But we will all have that overactive mind that in the middle of the night keeps us awake. And you're lying there and you're thinking, mind, just stop it. We can come to this tomorrow. That's, I think, what we're talking about here, isn't it? Is those little moments where you suddenly become aware, actually, my mind is overdoing this. I don't need it to be doing this. And you suddenly recognize, is it that recognition that your mind is in overdrive? Or what do we call it? Monkey mind, isn't it? It's one of the things that is often used in kind of spiritual circles, or in yoga, switch off the monkey mind. But it's so true, isn't it? Because it's a cheeky little thing that tries to kind of get in the way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what do we do then to switch it off? I mean, I just say, stop, I'll come back to it. Because I've had to practice this for many, many years, sort of doing this to stop mine. I can kind of do it most of the time. It's never 100%, but I can kind of sort of control it now just by saying stop, because I'm aware of it. But if
that's why you still look so young.
That's happening. Oh, that's too kind. But it is important, though, isn't it? Because if somebody doesn't recognize it, you don't know to say stop to it.
It's very hard. Yes, it's very hard to stop the mind. It's first of all very hard to separate you from the mind. So whoever says I don't have that, they just fail to make that separation. They still think that they are their mind. And to these people, I just say, like, take a look, like, see for yourself if it's true. And if it's not true, then okay, then it's not true, right? But it's very hard to switch off the mind. And it's like exactly like you say, that it requires training, it requires knowledge, knowing that you are not the mind to begin with. But it's very, very hard to get rid of it, for sure. But you can.
I've got to pick this up though, Carlijn. When you say you are not the mind, now there's going to be, I guarantee there's going to be people listening to this and watching this thinking, what do you mean I'm not my mind? Of course I'm my mind. That's me. I can think and I can listen, I can hear, I can do ideas, I can make decisions. That's me. I am my mind.
Okay. So
what do you say to them?
So look at that thing around you, like a little object. Are you that object? No, right? Look at your hand. Are you your hand? No. Now look at your laptop or your phone or whatever is in front of you. Are you that object? Can you be the thing that you are aware of? If I'm aware of something else, it has to be different than me, otherwise I cannot see it. So if I can be aware, like just as a logical thing, if I can be aware of my mind, am I my mind?
I love the way you've described that, Carlijn. That's genius. Honestly, I've always found it really difficult to describe this to people. And I think what you've just done there, this separation, I think is just so simple, but it's so clever. That's it, isn't it? It's that separation that we're looking for here. This is what we're talking about, this mental clarity, which was the title of this whole conversation, which I think now you've absolutely cracked there, because it's the separation. That's what we're after.
Yeah. It's you confronting instead of just thinking.
And then when you create that separation, then by definition, there's space, isn't there? Because if you're separate from the mug of coffee, the laptop, the microphone, so I'm separate to these things, there is space. There is space and separation between the two things.
Yeah, you create that.
We're trying to do that kind of almost internally, aren't we? We're trying to separate ourselves from our body and say it's different. We're trying to separate ourselves from our mind and our thoughts, because those actually aren't us. They're our mind and thoughts. But there's a separation there. Is that where when people talk about meditation, they talk about kind of going to this place. Isn't it that separation? Is that where meditation lives? I'm curious about this.
So meditation is just an act of sitting in being aware of things. So yes, it is a type of separation. When you separate things, you basically say that this thing is not the same as the other. Many people say that separation is a bad thing. It's not. You have to be able to separate, otherwise everything is the same as everything, and a green plant will equal death. Because of this reactive mind, you'll have these pictures and anything will equal anything. So you have to separate, okay? It's a good thing. And what you're doing in meditation is you're just looking at things. And you're actually just aware. You're just looking at things. You're looking at things. That's why in meditation, people always take one thing to be aware of, like the breath, a specific part of the body, a specific point in a room, any type that or one certain picture, but there needs to be one thing that you have your intention to, and that you intend to have your attention and awareness on, and you practice just being aware of things without having all of this reaction going on. Does that make sense?
It does, and it takes away judgment. We've used this word judgment. I think I've used the word judgment a couple of times earlier in our conversation. You can't be judging when you're in that space, can you? Because you're just aware. You're just paying attention. So there's something really pure and tiny about this.
Yeah, judgment is actually a good thing. Judgment is just the act of saying, okay, this is the situation. I judge the situation for what it is, and I know what to do from it. You make a judgment, correct? What most people refer to, and I think that you're referring to with it as well, is to make things wrong or to invalidate things, right? That's what you're meaning, right?
I think I probably was. Now you've corrected me. It's not actually that, is it? No, you're right.
And not to make you wrong, but there are so many people that talk about, oh, I'm being judged. No, you making a judgment is actually good. The one that's invalidating is you, not others. But that's a whole different situation and conversation. What I'm saying is, you're right. In meditation, you do not have, oh, this is good, this is bad. You do not have that. You just have, I'm just aware. I'm just looking at it.
So when people say this stuff is complicated or hard to do or difficult, the way you've just described that, Carlijn, is it's the easiest thing to possibly do, because you're just there. There can be nothing easier to do than this, and yet it is so difficult, isn't it? Because of all the noise and the chatter and those assumptions and the mind and the memory and everything else that we've been talking about. But it is the easiest thing to do as a human being. It's crazy, isn't it?
Spot on. Yes, it's the easier it is, the more effective it is, and the harder people will do it, because people have this lie that things need to be complex. The only thing you need from a coach is to remind you of the simplicity of things. And yes, we love to make things complicated, and it's always a lie. Yeah, you're very spot on. I love it.
And people, if you haven't, having listened to this, if you haven't understood that this is how you increase mental clarity by doing virtually nothing, then you've missed the point of the whole conversation here. Carlijn, this has been an incredible conversation. I want to put people in contact with you, because I know a lot of people are going to want to connect and kind of, read more about your work and maybe make contact directly with you. How can people get in touch?
So the best way is to just send me a message. You can look up my number on my website. It's called superwoman.cc. You can send me a text on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. and I always respond. So don't worry about bothering me or whatever. I'm super happy to always respond. So yeah, just send me a message.
This is great. So good. I mean, I think we could probably talk all day about this stuff, couldn't we? I mean, it's such fun. It's such fun once you kind of you look under the hood and you have a look and see what's in there. It's like, oh, this is exciting. Lots of shiny ideas.
Very intriguing.
Good fun. But I know you're a very busy person, so I need to let you get on. But thank you so much for your time and some of those stories and the anecdotes, and just the way to kind of define some of this stuff has just been so powerful. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Neil, for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation, and thank you for being willing to look at it, because I sometimes encounter many reactions. So you're a very special person, really.
Thank you.